while you're letting people in.
What?
So I've been working with 2 students who are willing to do like a presentation on the them, they, bisexual, all the different
LGBTQ.
Yep. And I talked with our teacher, one of the teachers at the high school who is married and lives with her wife here in our community about, you know, has it been really hard for you as an adult in the school system? And do you see more drug use in the children who struggle with the LGBTQ? And she is also willing to train with the kids, do a training. And she asked me on our trainings if it would be okay for her to join. And so she would love to be a part of all of our trainings. And I didn't know what that costs or how to go about letting them do that.
So that's something that we're gonna be talking about later on in Grace's subcommittee. So
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it sounds like you need
those
to
are good
join my
questions.
committee and come hang out with me, Natasha.
Yeah.
All right.
But the short answer is yes, that they're more than welcome to attend. There is no cost for virtual and at this time.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll talk about the rest.
Awesome.
when
Thank
we
you.
get to that part of the agenda. All right, you guys want to call the meeting to order? It's 11:03.
Oh, I call the meeting to order at 11:03 a.m. That's what I have. Hope it's
Yep.
the right time. And welcome everybody that was able to make it. and Those of us that slogged through the snow this morning. We had a really good executive board meeting prior to this one, but we'll let David talk about that because that's his wheelhouse. I just want to read the mission and vision really quick because sometimes I forget these things when I'm deep in the trenches and I want to hurt somebody. I have to remember why I'm doing what I do.
Yeah.
The mission is support community coalitions efforts to prevent youth substance abuse in Idaho. And our vision is safe and healthy Idaho communities free of substance abuse. And those are really good reminders on why we do what we do, regardless of getting frustrated. And we have a great staff though with David and Lindsay and Jim. So I feel excited about the future. And with that note, David, take
All
it
right,
away.
let's start with introductions. Natasha, you want to start?
Good morning, guys. I'm Natasha Needham from Orfino, Idaho. I am the activity coordinator and I run the Maniac Teen Center here. And I'm co-chair when Miss Rose isn't available.
My name is David Phillips. I am the Executive Director of Community Coalitions of Idaho. Jim?
Jim Hopla, evaluator, and I'm coming from sunny 76 degrees in Boston, Massachusetts.
Rose?
Rose Chef, I am the chair of Community Coalitions of Idaho, and I am a certified prevention specialist and a community health worker in Chalice, Idaho.
Mr. Bertolo?
Ryan Bertolotto, I'm the chief of police for the city of Fairburn.
Welcome. Susie?
I couldn't get it
There you go.
unmuted. I'm sorry. I'm Susie Sturts and I'm with the Idaho State Elks Drug Awareness Program.
Lindsay?
Lindsay Bailey, I'm the program coordinator for CCI.
Grace?
Hey everyone, my name is Grace Wachowski. I'm the executive director of Idaho Drug for Youth, certified prevention specialist, all that fun stuff. And I'm the secretary here at CCI.
Danielle?
Hey everyone, I'm the corporate director of outreach for North Point Recovery and Imagine program. I am also the networking and community marketing communications. Thank you, marketing person. Still getting my feet underneath me.
Thank you. Kaylee?
I'm the Region 2 Partnership for Success Coordinator.
Marco?
Mark Erickson of Community Youth in Action.
Graydon,
I'm with the Partnerships for Success grant. I'm Kaylee's intern.
oh, awesome. Simply Hope,
Sherry Allred from Simply Hope Family Outreach. Hey, everybody,
Hi,
I'm jealous
Sherry.
of whoever beat Boston.
who's sitting next to you, Sherry?
This is Shelley Butts and Nancy Windmill.
Oh, awesome, 3 in there, good job.
Yeah.
Let's see, everyone moved on me. Kendall, I think you're next.
Kendall Nagy with the Meridian Police Department and Director of the Meridian Anti-Drug Coalition.
Awesome. Haley,
Haley Blug, also with the Meridian Police Department and Secretary for the Meridian Anti-Drug Coalition.
Dirk,
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Dirk Bendev. I'm with Congressman Russ Fulcher's office. I'm out of his Meridian, Idaho office.
hi Dirk. Marianne,
Yes, excuse me. Hello, I am the Partnership for Success Coordinator in Health District 5.
awesome. I think we got everybody. Did we miss anybody? Okay, thank you, Natasha. All right, so those of you, so we did Lindsay, wow, my brain buffered for a second. Lindsay sent out the agenda along with the minutes and the financial reports. So do we have any discussion on that? If not, can we get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
This is Kendall. I just have a quick question. I was looking over the budgetary statement. And I noticed that it was 24,000 for Speak Sobriety for the workshop fee. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
And that covered how many days?
That covered the 2-day fall workshop plus 4 days of speaking. So we spoke at Orofino, Cascade, New Meadows, and then he spoke at Centennial, Meridian Middle, and Jefferson Middle.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We do have a credit with him because there was one workshop we were not able to pull together, so we do have a $3,000 credit with him.
What do you guys?
I just want to say, by the way, he was absolutely amazing. Our kids are still talking about it. I've never seen our junior high pay attention like they did with him. It was absolutely remarkable and worth every penny.
You guys were amazing. Your kids were amazing. So that was one of my favorite ones to watch. Any other questions? Can I get a?
David, this is money too. I mean, we had a lot of rollover money, didn't we, that we did spend last year? So this is certainly a positive and good way to use our resources. And not
Yes, it
lose
was.
them.
And it was, we did bring it to the membership in June and it was approved. I didn't sneak a $24,000 expenditure in there.
No, we know you wouldn't do that.
Not by anybody. And we did, we finally spent all of our carryover from the last couple of years because we did start at a little over 100. I think we got about $500 of carryover left over. So we, the CDC is happy with us, so.
Good. Okay, I'm sorry, I interrupted a motion to approve the budget. That's what we need.
This is Kendall. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Susie, second Susie.
All right, so Kendall motion, Susie seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Did I do something wrong, Danielle? Your face made me think. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So financial report is good to go. All right, so we did talk a little bit about this moving into the new business. Stephen Hill speaker tour went amazing. It was I got lost going to Orofino, so that was fun. But thankfully I left in plenty of time to where I still got there before everything kicked off. Stephen did not get lost, but we both went a sketchy way, so that was fun. And then Orofino was cool because they not only their kids, I don't think anybody understands really how good their kids were. They started them in the cafeteria to show them the video, then they moved the entire school into the gymnasium for their presentation, and the kids moved with purpose, and they were all great, and they were all super respectful. What was kind of nice about every single presentation had its own flavor or its own little bent. New Meadows is where he went after leaving Orofino. He literally drove from Orofino to New Meadows and made it just in time to speak, which was great because we forgot about that hour difference that happens in between those two locations. But the New Meadows had just had a really traumatic death in the community that week. So I heard from the folks at YAC that it actually helped them a lot because it kind of helped them process through a lot of things, and it helped them with that whole situation they're already dealing with. And he loved the Q&A portions that he had at every school. I know when he went down to Cascade, he got a chance to present, and then about an hour or so later, he met with kids down at a lunch and learn kind of thing, and he got a chance to have really good and when we set this program up, we didn't really set up for him to be at all these extra places, but because places like McCall didn't do anything, Lapaway passed, the University of Idaho thing didn't work out, so he was able to backfill and create these opportunities with these students, and he really liked the opportunity in Cascade because he got a chance to connect one-on-one with the kids. And it was the same thing at Jefferson Middle School in Caldwell. The principal, she was like, nobody ever comes to this school. She's like, we're so excited that we have this opportunity. And he got a chance to sit down with kids who are currently in the middle of kicking their addiction to vaping. And one of the kids has not gotten in trouble. He just decided to do it. And he actually got a chance to sit down and have a nice little one-on-one conversation with Stephen, and Stephen was able to share with him some inspirational words, and just if you feel like you're struggling, we all struggled kind of thing. So it was really neat to hear. The principals have even emailed me afterwards, and he's gotten a lot of messages from our kids here in Idaho and on his Instagram account about how much they appreciated him coming out, how they'd love to hear from him again. Other schools are requesting, so really neat opportunity. We had Centennial High School was an interesting ball of wax, but we still got some really cool opportunities out of that, even though the kids were not as good as Orofino. But yeah, all in all, it was an amazing time, and Stephen was just excited that he was able to help to be with us, especially at the fall conference. It was neat because him and his father stuck around and they participated with us. They learned with us. So those of you who are there, I could see, Grace and Natasha nodding their heads, and it was just a really neat opportunity. So, yeah. Anybody have anything to share that I didn't share?
Him and his dad were absolutely hilarious. They were sitting with Kelly and I when we were playing the football game, and they are just hilarious, those two. I will say our principal and our high school counselor has begged us to bring in a monthly speaker now because of the opportunities we've been able to bring to the school between Jeff and the speaker you brought. They want once a month to have a speaker come in and just really keep hammering home with these kids because they're listening, and they're like, now's the time to grab it. So if anybody's got speakers, send me an email so I can get some more in, because they're wanting some.
Well, I think the really cool thing is we have some amazing people in Idaho. Like I know Monty with his Natural High program would be another great speaker to come in. And then let's not forget, Idafy has that peer-to-peer group that we're trying to latch as many of the schools that have done assemblies with that program where it fits so that we can continue to grow the message. You know, we don't just expect for them to hear a speaker one time and fix everything, but getting in there and having constant work being done, especially kids are always, the youth are always good when when it's coming from other youth. So I'm really excited that we've been able to, I know some of the schools have already told me they've already reached out and had conversations with Grace and her team over there at Idafy. So I'm super excited because there were schools that were even in Burley that we're talking about working with Idaho Drug for Youth. So it was really cool. So Red Ribbon Week, you guys all, I'm so proud of this last Red Ribbon Week. One of my biggest beefs, and I know Kendall, you can attest to this, is I hate Red Ribbon Week because it's become this thing where we just put on funny socks, we wear a silly hat, but the message has really seemed to have gotten really watered down. And you guys all just like brought your A games so big. It was so exciting to see so much, everyone's good work that they were doing with the kids. I mean, Marco, you guys were out there getting in as many schools around as many kids as possible. Salmon did stuff in their schools and their community. I love how they take the Red Ribbon Week out into their downtown. It's so cool. And MADC with their just getting as much material to the schools as possible. I think Haley, was this the, I know this was your first year, but I think this was the most participation that we've had at West Ada. Is that correct?
I believe so. We had 34 schools and like over 26,000 resources that we gave out. So yeah.
And me and Haley and Kendall got to hang out at Meridian Middle School and fly natural high kites with the kids, and that was fun stuff. Got some kids were saying some pretty cool things after school that my daughter was telling me about. Some of the kids had no idea what natural high was. And then really the way some of you guys bring the whole concept out of the schools and into your communities. I know I saw MADC out at the trunk or treat event in downtown. I know a lot of you have done other things in your towns as well. And I really want to thank the Elks Lodge. They really stepped up and helped us get ribbons and any other materials that we needed out to the schools and to the communities. So just want to thank everybody. Does anybody want to share something from their Red Ribbon Week that I didn't highlight? Because I was trying to follow as much of you guys as possible. Natasha?
I feel bad I have not gotten any pictures up, but what we did is we put vaping posters in all the locker rooms and bathrooms of the school. We put big banners up, some of the banners I got at our fall festival, in fact, or our fall meeting. But the cool thing is we decided to give out coffee cards for any kid in the school that made a drug and alcohol-free poster. And then we were going to choose, 3 winners based off of, we let our YAC kids vote on them. Some of the posters I got were absolutely brilliant. I have never seen such amazing artwork. I have them up all over the teen center. So it was really, really cool to see them jump in and participate even more than last year.
And those of you, if anybody missed out on resources, I would like to start having the conversation or even earlier. I know Danielle has some really good ideas on how we can continue to get resources out. And then the sooner that we know what we need, we can get a lot of the things from the Elks Lodge because they have a lot of resources that we can tap into. So I really want to thank you, Susie, you and the Elks. You guys are an amazing resource, and we find out something new about you guys every single time we work with you. So it's super cool.
We've really been excited this year because we have been asked for more and more information. And this is what we've been trying to do for quite some time, David. And I have to thank you and Kendall because you guys both have really put our name out there. And we have a poster, essay, and video contest, Natasha, that I would like to send you information on. And it's, if they win, they go national. And
Oh,
it's,
yes, please. That'd be amazing.
it is a big deal. So if you would send me your email in the chat, we have a lot of other stuff going on. We've got the Camarina Award coming up again. And the applications, all you have to do is send me an email and I'll send you the nomination form. We've got to have them in by December. I've had 5 SROs now that are going to be recommended for this. So give that some consideration. And David, thank you so much for what you've done for us, and Kendall.
And then I was just gonna say, I appreciated MADC's point of view. They also did a parent flyer and talking points to help parents to speak about drug and alcohol with their teens or preteens. And it was really cool to share that. I got a lot of good positive feedback in our community, because sometimes, you know, it's scary to talk to your kids about those words and what to say and not knowing. And so it was really cool to see a different point of view with Red Ribbon Week as well. So I like the combination.
Yeah, one of the things, what I normally don't talk about in my introduction is I'm also part of the Meridian Anti-Drug Coalition. I'm a volunteer and I'm there currently sitting as their faith sector rep, and I'm excited. I love being a part of the coalition because the police department, the city, and Kendall, they really do a really good job of doing prevention work, right? So yeah, I want to say I agree with you there, Danielle. That flyer was amazing. So okay, well, we'll move on and give Lindsay, if she has the voice for it. You want to talk about what we did this last week?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad I'm still here because somehow I've like hidden myself on Zoom. So I'm like, I don't really know what's going on. I'm here, but I don't know what's happening. But I'm sure you guys can see me, but I can't see me. So anyway, CCI and the Elks were able to partner together here in CADCA County with the school district, as well as we had some days in Star, Idaho. But we were able to partner with Susie to bring Ray in and do a tour with CADCA School District is one I'll talk about. So we did 8 elementaries, 6 high schools, and 3 middle schools in 2 days, as well as a parent night. So each session was around or just above or just under about 1,200 kids. And so we were really excited about that. And we were able to partner with some local groups. Simply Hope was there for a little bit of the resource fair. I think Nancy was there. So I appreciate you guys coming. And then David and I are kind of in the works to try to get some more stuff done here in Region 5. It's one that CCI hasn't often been able to attain. And we were really appreciative of that, to partner with the Latinos in Actions to get that done. One notable thing on that is one of the things on CCI's action plan is to have information dissemination in Spanish, which we really haven't been able to accomplish. And with this speaking tour, we had in one of the sessions alone, we had 7 kids that had the audio translated into Spanish. So that was a huge win for CCI. And then as well at the parent night, we had a translator as well. So, and then our first flyers went out in Spanish for this tour as well. So yeah, that was kind of a huge deal for us. And we were grateful to partner with Latinos in Action to get that done. And they're really kind of talking about maybe creating a coalition here in the area to keep things like this rolling. So it was really cool.
Yeah, talking about burying the lead. Thousands of kids, and most of them 5th and 6th graders and junior high kids. And I can tell you right now, if you want a speaker to come and talk to junior high kids or older elementary school kids, Ray Lozano is the one, because he captured them. He plays off their energy very well. I've done a lot of stuff, older stuff with Ray. I forget how good he is with those younger kids. So it was
sorry, I didn't mean to. One thing, there's a Ray sent this to David and I, and I really would like to share it with you guys. It was Ray had made a TikTok video and posted it, and this was one of our Star Middle School kids that commented this on it. It says, "Hi, listen, you might not check all your comments, but you came to my school and you shared about the teacher that saved your life, which you saved my life today with that story. You've inspired me, and I've enrolled in acting school, which will better my life, and I love it. I've learned so much from you in such a short time, and now people can hear my voice because you were brave enough to share yours. I am very thankful for you, so thank you, thank you, thank you." And I just thought that was such a cool thing. So
yeah, that's one of the cool things that happened out of the last couple of speakers that we've had out, is hearing those stories that we may not see because they don't come directly to us. They come to the speakers. And I love that the speakers have social channels and areas where the kids can reach out and send these messages. And yeah, and Star was really cool because we had a chance at the parent night to sit down with the new police chief for the city of Star, who's a lieutenant with Ada County Sheriff, and he is super excited working with us. And it was nice as his SRO is retiring this year, so he was making sure that we had all the connections that we needed to be able to continue to do work in Star. He's super excited to affect the city for the positive when it comes to drug and alcohol abuse. And that middle school has the most amazing principal that I've ever met in my entire life. It reminded me a lot of what I saw up in Orofino. You can really tell that everybody loves the kids. Everybody's there for the right reason. And when you have leadership, what I saw over the last few weeks doing a lot of traveling, is you can tell what a good leader will do for not only the school, but for not only for the staff, but for the students as well. So Natasha, share with your principal that I really saw a lot of really cool leadership in that place, and that don't stop doing the good work. So, but yeah, big kudos to Lindsay for helping us mark that off. I know Jim, that's been something that we've been chasing for the last 2.5 years, right? Is that really reaching out to the Latino population, and Lindsay got the flyer translated at no cost to us, I believe. And the school district provided those interpretation services. So it just really shows that we have staff here that are problem solvers. And I really like working with those types of people. And I think those types of people are good for prevention. So. All right. So now I want to talk about CADCA. One of the things that we ran into in July was we waited way too long to have this conversation, and things were more expensive than they should have been. We have budgeted to we can send 2 people to CADCA. I was having conversations with Sue Thal, and I forgot the guy that is her like admin, to do a workshop. It's not looking like it's I was going to teach a workshop, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So sorry, I'm kicking a cold. So I'd like to know, start the conversation. Is anybody interested in going first off?
When is it?
January 30th to February 2nd.
I am definitely interested in going. I'll just be the first to say that I'm absolutely wanting to be there. With working on my CPF certification, I think those credits would be invaluable, as well as I've never been to Forum, so I would love to get out there. So.
I also am doing some college work to get my counseling degree, so any trainings I can throw at it is extremely helpful.
Is anybody else going from their coalition?
David, I'm always interested in it too, so.
Okay.
I'm interested as well, but if I can fund me, so.
Okay. So are you?
I have never gone to CADCA.
Oh, you have to go, Rose. It's amazing.
Never.
I have to talk to Kelly. I'm not sure what's in our DFC budget for that. Hopefully I can go. That would be amazing.
So I would be interested.
The upside to going is this year, from what I understand, they're not doing the virtual Capitol Hill appointments this year. We're actually going to be physically there in the Capitol offices. And something that I learned, Marco was helpful in teaching us this last year, was our senators and congressmen want to see us in person. They don't want, if we take the time to fly across the country, they want to see us in their offices, no matter what the current status is. They would much rather see us in person than on a video call. So we only have we budgeted for 2. We do not have carryover like we've had in the past. So I think I personally, I'd rather not go. I've done a lot of traveling and I'm kind of exhausted. And I would much rather, if Rose wants to go as the chair of CCI, I think that would be amazing. One of the things that I will say to those of you who go from CCI is CADCA normally leans on us to plan our state meeting. So that's a responsibility that will fall to who I can do virtual stuff on this side, but when you guys get there, you will sit together with everybody from Idaho. Marco, are you guys sending anybody to Forum this year?
We're going to go to mid-year because I'm in session and I didn't want to have to get a substitute to fill in for me during that time. So we're going to go to mid-year as a team.
So not Forum then.
We don't plan on sending anybody yet.
Okay.
I kind of have a weird question, David.
What's up?
I haven't looked at the liquor control board grant in like a couple weeks. Is this something maybe CCI or a couple of us could apply for and send multiple of us to support?
That is a possibility. There's a couple of areas. I know we have some of the PFS coordinators on, and I was wondering if you guys knew if I know you guys have education grants with the PFS mini grants that you guys hand out. I was wondering if this would be something that you guys would be able, that those grants would be able to cover as well. Those were 2 things. We were working the liquor division and some of the region, like I know Region 4 has grants for training, but I wasn't sure if it would cover something like this. Do any of you guys know that are from the program?
Hi, this is Heather Allen. I can look into it. I can send you an email, David, and let you know. And if you want to send it out to the group, I am pretty sure that CADCA would be covered, and I'm not sure about the Idaho. Did you say the liquor division?
Yeah, I was asking you about the PFS. I could ask Katie about the liquor division, but I was just wondering for the
Okay,
PFS.
yeah.
I know
Yeah,
And this
on
is
our
Mary Ann.
website- On our website, we've got the a link for the application for that mini grant. So I can put my website in the grant or in the chat box so that can be looked at.
Okay.
And this is Mary Ann. The PFS, at least for District 5, if someone from District 5 wants to be sent to CADCA, it is possible that I could assist with that, but they would have to be from District 5 specifically.
So I live in Marianne, or I live in Marianne. I live in District 5, Marianne. So
Right.
yeah, that would be great.
Right. So I'll send you some information.
Yeah, thank you.
David, did you have a question for me? This is Kendall.
Yeah, actually I do. So Lindsay and I were looking at, did you guys already apply to go, like, have you gotten approval to go yet?
Not yet. No, it's quite a process to make the training submission request and then get approval and whatnot. So I just wanted to make sure that we were listed as CCI members under CADCA, because then we can get that discount.
Yeah, you guys are, and the reason why we asked is because there is a group discount. It saves you about, what was it, Lindsay, $50 total or 50 a person?
For 50 per person. And same with the hotel right now. So those of you who traveled with us for mid-year, the hotel fills up super fast and you have to put a hold on it, and they're requiring a deposit for it. And if you do a group one, the deposit gets cheaper and cheaper. So
Yeah, I don't have a lot of control on my end as far as timing and how things are processed. So I can certainly, if it moves ahead, we're going to tackle this afternoon, actually, Haley and I. So if it moves ahead faster than I anticipated, I will certainly let you know if it can benefit that group rate.
wonderful, thank you.
Okay.
Natasha just said in the chat that Kelly and Kelly is planning for them to go. So do you know when you guys might be registering, Natasha? Sorry, I'm just trying. Last time I registered for the hotels for mid-year, and those of us that went know how that went.
Right, right.
I
I love Kelly to pieces, but she can be quite the procrastinator. So I will let you know as soon as I know. I will get on her and make sure we get it done pretty fast.
So are you going to, Lindsay, are you going to apply for the PFS grant?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm just speaking candidly, like I'll apply for anything to be able to go. Like I really think it would be good for me to, I personally just really want to go. So yeah, if Marianne and I can get together to apply for that, that'd be wonderful. And if not, I would also still love to go with CCI through CCI. So either way, but yeah, I'm willing to apply for it right now.
Okay, well, so Grace, do you have a good list of people who said they're interested in going? I think it's Jim, Rose, Lindsay. I'm willing to go. I'm not going to mid-year. I'm sorry. I'll go to Forum, but I won't go to mid-year. I'd much rather go to DC and meet with our legislators than go to anything in the summertime again. So
I have a list of everyone who said they're interested and who would like support financially and who's getting funding from other places. I can start a group email after this as well, so we can plan some stuff out. I also have all the links to the grants put in the notes.
awesome. You're amazing. Okay.
So will it help the group rate if Kelly and I go in under people then? Is that what we need to do, or?
That there is a savings. So Grace has you guys down as going, and we can talk about, maybe this will help Kelly, you know, plan a
Exactly.
little farther along as we all group rate kind of thing. And yeah, so
The other good thing about it too is, you know, obviously early registration is a thing too. So the earlier you register, you don't have to get hit with all those extra fees. It's more expensive
Yeah.
the longer you wait.
when does early registration end?
I'm looking right now, sorry.
You know, Grace? No, okay. Do you know, Kendall? I think that was why you guys were concerned about getting.
I don't have it memorized or in front of me right now.
Okay. Not a big deal. So we'll add all of you guys to that group email, and we'll do some planning, and we'll see who goes. And Jim, you're interested in going too, correct? Okay. All right, moving on.
Ends December 31st.
Oh, so we don't, so we have some time, not a whole bunch, we have some time. So moving on, December is a super busy month with the holidays and everything, and I wanted to know, would you guys like to still have a member meeting in December, or would you guys like to cancel the December meeting and return after the first of the year? That's why that's on there, because I think we've canceled the last couple of years.
I think it's safe to cancel December and let everybody have a breather for sure.
I would say as long as that's not detrimental to any activities that the legislative committee might be trying to prepare for or continue moving on, and they could meet on the side too, but that's just can be a busy time in that regard.
Yeah, further down on the agenda, I do have that. I'm looking to schedule in some opportunities so that, and publicize the committee meetings, so that if people, like you're right, the legislative part is busy no matter what. But we don't have anything else pressing, but that would be the most pressing thing, would be preparing for the legislative session.
Please
do we-
keep in mind that for the PFS, sometimes there's certain, like, not only does the person have to be in my district, but I sent you something, Lindsay, that tells you what I need from you. Some information before I can even look further. But with PFS, quite often they tell us that we can offer certain mini grants, and it has to be pre-approved for us. So it's like, I need the information from Lindsay. Anybody that tries to do it through a PFS, most likely you'll have to be approved through us, and we have to get it approved through the PFS director before we can actually approve it at our level. Does that make sense?
That
So
makes
make
sense.
sure you do it as soon as possible.
So David, and you and I can talk about this more later, but obviously some of those things that she's gonna need are like the agenda and how much it's gonna cost. If, let's say, I was sponsored through the PFS grant to go, would that, like, I know with per diem and all that plays into a role. So I guess I'm saying you and I probably should sit down and talk about some of these details.
Yeah.
Well, and PFS wouldn't be able to cover your per diem.
That
At
was-
most, we'd be able to cover the, like a conference registration cost, possibly. Sometimes they'll let us include hotel and travel, but that's it.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we understand that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I just wanted to see how that would work with Cece. Thanks so much, Marianne.
All right, do we have a consensus on December? Do we want to still have a meeting? What do we want to do? Does anybody have any passions one way or the other?
I would say that with all the talk about this CADCA and the legislators, et cetera, I don't think it would hurt to have a meeting, and anybody that doesn't need to attend to a meeting doesn't have to necessarily be there, but sometimes when you don't have meetings, things get lost and people forget, and all of a sudden we're caught with our pants down. And I like mine up, so
I concur, Susie.
yes.
All right.
Good to at least have a meeting. Doesn't have to be an hour and a half either. So.
It's true. Okay, so we will just go yay there, not to change anything, and that will be the 5th of December for everyone. All right, we'll move on to subcommittee reports. Danielle, do you want to talk about this?
I don't have any reports, but we are having a meeting very soon to kind of go over more of what my responsibilities are and some ideas.
Well, I
Thank you,
kind of
Lindsay,
jumped
for
the gun.
setting
I
that up.
skipped. I'm sorry, I skipped on the agenda.
I know, I was taking a bite of my sandwich. Wasn't prepared.
Lindsay and Danielle have talked a couple times, working on their busy schedules. We are going to circle back around and get a better idea about getting our feet under us. But if anyone is interested in joining this committee, Danielle's email is on the agenda. And can you throw it in the chat too, Danielle?
You got it.
Thanks. Sorry, Grace, I totally skipped you. You want to talk about the workforce development?
You tricked me. I was like so ready. And then I was like, oh, it's not my turn yet. Yeah, so I had a meeting with David and them. And so some of the things that I'm really going to be focused on and working on. And if you're hearing this and you're like, wow, that sounds like something I also have a lot of opinions on. Join my work group and you get to hang out with me. Typically, well, we haven't held any meetings, but I promise we're quick and action oriented. And we'll just get stuff done. So don't feel like it's just another thing on your plate. So we're working on scheduling monthly webinars that will be online about trainings. Some trainings we're thinking about are focused on LGBTQIA2+, health disparities, bringing in youth voice, working to get some credentialing and answer some questions around certified prevention specialists. Do you use mental health first aid, just regular mental health first aid, QPR, which is a suicide prevention training, and also talking with our colleges about ways to partner with them and kind of enhance our workforce. So if you are interested in doing monthly webinars or have topics that I'm not saying, join my work group and hang out with me. We'll also do some mini trainings each month during our CCI. If you want to kind of do a mini training, if you're like, wow, I have a passion in this certain subset, or I'm really great in this, let me know. For example, Marco talked to us about politics and the legislation last meeting when we were in fall conference. That's exactly what it looks like, just a couple of minutes. So we'll probably talk about Ledge Sesh, current member programs, some potential member programs, college support opportunities, and workforce development. So, you know, what does it look like to have an intern? Why have interns? Stuff like that as well. We're also talking about setting up our spring conference. If you have an interest in doing the spring conference or have an opinion at all, please let me know. We're potentially going to make a youth track and hold it in Idaho Falls, which would be amazing. This will probably be in March and April. We're working on the time frame right now. And we're thinking through themes. So I'm going to drop a list of themes that I thought about while driving my car one day. If you like any of them, let me know. If you have other theme ideas, let me know. That way I just don't want to take up a bunch of time. So I'm just going to throw it in the chat and just let me know what speaks to you. And if none of it speaks to you, then we'll go back to the drawing board. And then finally, I think that was all.
Yeah, that was a mouthful.
That's it.
And
Sorry, I talked really fast. It'll all be in the notes.
And her email is also in there. And as we start having meetings, we'll make sure that we get those out to you guys. So if you are interested, but if you're interested and you want to make sure you don't miss a meeting, I would email Grace at idfy.org so that she can put you on her radar to make sure that you attend. And I saw Marco's eyes when Grace said youth track. So, and since we'll be in your backyard, that'll be really cool to partner with you guys to make that super successful. So I was kind of excited that that was Grace's idea to add that to the spring conference. So,
oh, one last thing. So I'm new to the secretary role. If you're someone who has a lot of opinions about how things are written, or you have information that you would like put in the notes that maybe you didn't get a chance to say, please, please, please send it to me in whatever format you want it to look like by end of day, the day after a meeting. If I get it a week from now, it's not going to make it in the notes probably. But if I get it right away, then I'll be able to put it in there and make it beautiful. If you send it to me and you don't get a response, I have not done it. So please, like, if you're someone who likes certain things bolded or underlined or italicized, send it to me in that format so I know how you want it looking in the notes. That's all.
Marco, we're looking at either March or April, the first week of either of those months. Probably, I don't know what it looks like with the State Department of Education Prevention Conference and ICAD this year. Does anyone know when those two? Because those are the two that messed us up this year. It's why we went to the summer.
ICAD is not happening this year.
Okay, thank you. So that's a less busy spring, which works out perfectly for us. So Marco's letting us know that April will be better because he's not in session, and that's important because you do a lot of really good work for us in the session out there. So we'll keep that in mind as we continue to plan.
And the Northwest Alcohol Conference will be in July, which only comes every other year.
Oh, is it coming back? That's good.
Yep.
I had heard it wasn't, so I'm glad to hear it is coming.
He's coming and he's excited.
Good.
And I already booked my sponsorship.
Oh, that's right. You guys are a big sponsor of that. All right. Legislative committee. David Roth had to step out early from our executive meeting. Something about Chris Como, I don't know, but he's got a lot going on. Keep David in your thoughts and prayers tomorrow as he awaits the results of the election much differently than the rest of us. So we send positive vibes to him and his family as they close out what they've done this election season. But we do have Dirk Mendive from Congressman Fulcher's office. I know he gave a report at the MADC meeting about what's going on federally in regards to drugs and prevention. And so I asked him to kind of give us a recap and add anything that he thought might be pertinent for the statewide audience. So the time is yours, Dirk.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you today. I hope you can hear me okay. There's a bunch of gardening happening out in front of Meridian City Hall. So I hope the leaf blowers and everything else is not interfering. So if you can't hear me, just let me know. I do appreciate the opportunity to just to share briefly today. I know for some of you who were at the last MADC meeting, some of this might be kind of, you've already heard it before. But I will just touch briefly on President Biden's pardon proclamation that he issued last month on October 6th. Well, as most of you are likely aware, the president's proclamation has no impact on anything state related, and most offenses for marijuana possession are state offenses. The White House did say that there's no one currently in prison for simple possession, but they thought that the pardon would help those who had convictions to have better access to housing and employment. So the president did make this statement, this proclamation, but it has really limited impact. However, the one thing it could do is the administration could try and use its position to put pressure on states to implement the administration's policies, or else they will be cut off for funding or face other, situations there. So that's something that the congressman's office is focused on, is watching closely. Thus far, there hasn't been much to come of this. Of course, as many of you are aware, I'm sure you're all aware, tomorrow is a very important day. And so from the congressman's office's perspective, it seemed that the president's proclamation last month was more political in advance of this upcoming election. And so the actual impacts on the ground are limited, but it's something that we're definitely still focused on. And a large part that will go through tomorrow and see what happens with the outcome of the election. As I did touch on with the at the MADC meeting, there were two pieces of legislation that were passed the House in this last Congress and this previous Congress, which is coming to a rapid close. One would be known as the MORE Act. I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with that or have heard of that. And that is the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. And now that did pass the House on April 1st of this year, and that would decriminalize marijuana federally. Now it did pass the House, it did not go through the Senate. Another bill that went through the House this Congress was the Secure and Fair Enforcement Banking Act of 2021. And basically what that would do is that would allow specifically anything related to cannabis. Obviously, you have many states that have legalized marijuana to some fashion or another, or cannabis. This would make it federally allowable for banking services for these businesses. So both of those did pass this current Congress. They both have failed to move forward in the Senate. We will see what happens as a result of tomorrow to see kind of what goes forward into the next Congress, and if certain of these efforts will continue. I think part of the president's pardon proclamation with the marijuana is kind of a signaling of kind of the administration's intent and direction in regards to drug policy, especially in regards to marijuana. I would just touch on three other bills real quick, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight on what's been happening in DC. And these are more, I would say, good things, bipartisan things. The Prevent Act of 2021, it did pass the House in July of this year. It still has not moved in the Senate. I don't know if the Senate will take up or add this to anything in the lame duck session here that starts next week. But that bill would require the U.S. Customs and Border Protection just to ensure that there's specific and necessary containment devices to prevent secondary exposure to fentanyl and other lethal substances. So that is something that seems to be pretty common sense, no brainer, and glad to see that the House did pass that 429-0. Of course, my boss supported that. It's still waiting to move in the Senate. Two other bills I would just highlight for you is the Opioid Prescription Verification Act of 2021, HR 2355. And that would just require the Department of Health and Human Services to kind of just keep an annual update in providing guidance to pharmacists and other healthcare providers who might believe that someone's trying to fill a prescription that's either fraudulent or forged or doubtful. So there's just provides more tools for those who are faced with that, especially with obviously prescriptions are a definite part of our current drug issues with abuse there in those prescription drugs. And then lastly, just the Campus Prevention and Recovery Services Act of 2022. And that bill would basically just reauthorize through fiscal year 2028, 15 million a year it would reauthorize over those 5 years by expanding the program to include efforts to prevent substance misuse on campuses. So it would be more money there to try and work prevention, especially on campuses, college campuses. And that one passed the House adequately. Of all three of these bills passed the House without issue, broad bipartisan support. My boss supported all three of them. None of them have been taken up in the Senate. So again, we will see what happens going into this session here after the election. But in general, I guess why I share those bills and kind of highlight them, there are things that hit the headlines, like the pardon proclamation. Much of the time, there's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes that people don't hear about that does have good bipartisan support, and hopefully will have, good impact on the ground to kind of combat some of our drug and alcohol problems going around across the country. So with that, if there's any questions or any concerns, happy to try and address that as best I can, but otherwise I will yield back.
Does anybody have any questions for Dirk? Really appreciate it, Dirk. It's good to kind of hear, like you said, about some of those things that don't hit the headlines quite as heavy as some other things that come out of Washington. And just really appreciate your guys' office and the congressman. You guys have been a very big supporter of prevention here in Idaho. So I'm super appreciative of you taking some time out of your schedule today to give us that update. So.
Well, thank you, David. And I will say, as you know, my boss, he's very much opposed on the marijuana front. He does not want to see that impact Idaho. And, I know a lot of these things dealing with legislation, they're sometimes not the funnest things to address and talk about. But, if any one of your members or if the coalition itself, if you have any questions on any legislation, or if you come across something of concern, please reach out, because these are just a few bills that may not have got many headlines, but that there was good support across the aisle with both parties. We try and keep track of as much of it as we can, but it's hard to do so with everything. So if anyone has any issues, concerns, please reach out. We're happy to address them as best we can.
Awesome. Can you throw your email in the chat for everybody in case they don't have it?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank
One other
you.
thing on the legislative committee, for those of you that may not know, Kind Idaho did, they are running another ballot initiative for medical marijuana here in Idaho. They're currently collecting signatures. They received their petitions on October 14th. They have 18 months to get roughly 70,000 signatures is what they said on their little Facebook Live video that they put on their Facebook account. I think it's really important, especially because the Idaho Statesman did another poll, I'm using my air quotes, to show that there's greater acceptance of medical marijuana in Idaho. And I think that they hide behind the fact that their questions are very misleading, and they leave a lot of things out of the questions they ask in their very one-sided poll. But I think it's really important that we continue to do the work that we're doing and having conversations. One of the things that some of the work groups that I'm in, one of the conversations that came out of is are we going to see more pressure being put on our legislators this session to bring marijuana legalization back legislatively? And I can say, I see Mr. Erickson shaking his head. He's a staunch advocate for us in the legislative. And we have others that I've had conversations with people who look like they're going to be successful and new senators and House members this year. So really trying to, as you're having conversations, as people want your vote, ask them point blank, where are you at with this? And let them know point blank where you are. And if this is for me, this is a do or die issue. So if it's a do or die issue for you, let them know. Even if they might be wavering, letting them know that this is the do or die issue for them might keep them from making poor Marco's job any harder than it has to be this next session. So, but I really do want to thank Marco again as he gets ready to head into another session for the work that he has done for prevention. I mean, just alone on the marijuana legalization side, he has really been a staunch advocate for us, and the things that we're planning on doing this year, the conversations that we're going to have, he's a big part of making sure that those things are successful. So I just want to thank you, Marco. Okay, now we'll move into reports. We're doing pretty good on time. We're a little bit behind, but not much. We'll start with, should we start from the bottom going up, or should we start from the top going down? We'll start from the bottom going up. Marco, I'll start with you.
Sure. I didn't get any regional updates from everybody, but so they didn't send me email. I forgot to send them out, but I know a lot of good stuff's going on. During Halloween, there was a lot of groups that did alternative activities to prevent drugs on Friday and Saturday night, and alcohol. And I know our coalition did this big opioid thing at the pumpkin patch, when there were thousands of people that went through and saw our display. And we posted on Facebook, but if you didn't see it, it was 365 pairs of shoes to represent all those who had passed away in Idaho last year, and they were just empty shoes. And then, then we had some fentanyl education there, and showed, trick or treat, right? And so we kind of had a whole lot of display information for people, handed out a lot of flyers. So that was a really successful event. In addition to all the things you guys already talked about with Red Ribbon Week, our team saw over 800 youth, did some really cool presentations. That was a lot of fun to watch and be a part of. And they're not stopping. They're continuing to do those presentations, even though Red Ribbon Week's over. They've got some scheduled for the next few weeks for some other schools. So good work going on. We're just prepping for this winter coming up, and a whole lot of activities that will happen coming this winter. So just in the prep mode for those. Our parent education unit is going to a lot of back school nights. That's getting requested quite frequently. So a lot of school events and teacher education, and we're bringing in SROs and and it takes, again, I don't know if people know, but it takes 20 to 30 minutes to go through that mobile unit. It's so detailed. There's just hundreds of items to be looking at. So we tell them to stagger their teachers as they go through, because they can't just all come in at once. But that's what we've been up to. We're doing our grand opening for the Spark, which I don't know if you know, we bought a brand new building right next door to where we operate. Our Spark is the Safety Prevention and Resource Center. It opens November 10th for our coalition, and it's an assessment center for youth to kind of give them another level of prevention and try to help divert them away from juvenile corrections and the systems in general, like child protection services, early detection and early interventions. So that way we can connect them with health districts and all of our partners that do the different work to help people stay substance free. So that's going to be a big news story November 10th. Look for that for us. And yeah, that's all I know about going on. Sharon, I know, might have a lot going on over in Salmon, and BYDC's got stuff going on. And I think that David had been a little bit busy with his work with this campaign, so I haven't heard from them. Thank you.
I think BYDC did their donuts for drugs again with the drug take back day. So that was it was good to see that. programs still going on and seeing those drug take back days go on. And we'll reach out to the other coalitions and let them know that Grace can throw some of their reports into the minutes if they want to share. So Lindsay, can you reach out to David Roth and to Sharon and make sure that we have make room for them if they have something they want to share?
Yeah, just while there's a moment, I don't know if you're doing PFS updates along with both. I have Mallory, she emailed it to me. So maybe I'll
Oh yeah,
just-
go ahead.
Okay. She says, PFS update, East Idaho Public Health has been working with student resource officers and school administration to promote third millennium classrooms. Third millennium classrooms has prevention and intervention courses pertaining to substances, alcohol, marijuana, nicotine, prescriptions, etc. Those partnerships are going very well. If you represent a school or community organization in Region 7 that is interested in learning more about third millennium classrooms, please contact Mallory. They'd love to set that up and keep it going throughout the districts in the region. East Idaho Public Health is partnering with Idaho Spud Kings Hockey to share underage drinking prevention information at hockey games and other events held within the new Mountain America building. Scheduling drug impairment trainings for education professionals as well right now. If you're interested in that, contact Mallory, and they're still obviously promoting doTERRA patches and the medication lockboxes. So the biggest one, I guess, is third millennium classrooms, as well as scheduling drug impairment trainings for educational professionals.
Great.
Also, I was going to add to that, we partnered with the Public Health District and PFS on a vaping campaign that's at the documentary. And it's really cool. If you haven't seen it, if you could check on YouTube and just click East Idaho Vaping, there's a whole documentary with a bunch of our teenagers telling stories about their vaping journey. We had kids who were active vapors, kids who had quit, kids who had never started. And it's just a really good, short 7-minute documentary.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, looking, we don't have any representative for 6. PFS coordinator for 6 isn't here, correct?
That would be Chessie, and I don't see her on the list.
Okay, and then Region 5. Sherry, do you guys want to talk about what's going on in Region 5? The Simply Hope, are you guys still on?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we also, along with Marco's group, we opened up our STACK program, which is the Simply, let's say, Safety and Assessment Center under the IDJC grant that we received. And so we've started that as a Tier 1 assessment center. And through that, we have gone with a BOTVIN and opened it up for and got MOU signed with school districts, and we are working and holding a 101, Vaping 101, to help with those that are getting caught like a first offense, and kind of working with them to hold a 6-week program to teach those life skills and prevention. We'll have the hospitals want to send in like a doctor or a registered nurse and talk about what they've seen. So to help the kids understand vaping and its danger. Also, we've got an MOU with Magic Valley Boys and Girls Club, and taking those BOTVIN life skills and prevention skills over to 11, 12-year-olds. So we're going to be working with them. So that's going to be pretty cool. Also, tomorrow night, we've been working with the school district, CADCA School District, and we'll be doing a parent night for the Latino population and taking in prevention materials and program materials for those parents. So we did Red Ribbon Week, where we took some poster packages that we had gotten for prevention through the Radar Center up in Boise State. And our teams baked 960 cookies to take to staff members in 12 schools. And then they hung up our posters. And so that was pretty cool for that. Just looking up, coming up with a lot of different programs and things that are happening. You know, it's one of those, if you build it, they will come. So you have these programs and you start up, and people, we are just growing exponentially here. I think Marco I remember talking to Marco and about how, you know, just within 3 years, they had like 100 kids come or 200 kids, anyways, staff of 25, and now they're growing even more with their Spark Center. And that's what's happening here. So we're just growing and learning ways to help these kids and help the parents and families deal with addiction and to teach them prevention skills.
Awesome. You guys have been busy. After spending some time in Region 5, I understand why. There's tons of people that really want to get involved. So super excited. Mary Ann, do you want to share what PFS has been doing?
Sure. PFS has been recently, we're still working with the guided journals for teen mental health. We're also helping support people that are using life skills training program, as well as the positive action family classes. We have some new partners on that in different areas. We have the drug impairment training going on. We are offering it for people in District 5 who don't necessarily have a close relationship with the school so that they could go to a school. So like Lindsay, you could come over. We're going to be holding it November 15th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Twin Falls South Central Public Health District offices. I just need people to contact me via my email to let me know that they want to come because we have limited space. So I'm putting my, there we go, my email in the chat so that you can contact me if you're in District 5 and would like to attend. We're also trying to get the same training, drug impairment training for education professionals in all of the schools. We've had a few that have done it, and I'm still working to get it into more of the schools if at all possible. We're also trying to gear up to start having some youth mental health first aid classes. And we were trying to help get teen mental health first aid into some schools in Health District 5. But we've had a little trouble getting any schools that want to commit to doing so. The only thing they really need to do is get 10% of their adults to agree to become certified in the youth mental health first aid program, which is an easy class to get through and become certified in. And I've tried to tell them, you don't necessarily have to be a teacher. You can be any of the staff, right down to the school cook, just someone that's available to the kids that get trained in teen mental health first aid to be able to go to if they have a question or they need help getting someone referred to a counselor or something, you know, they need help. So I've been trying to work on that. Like I said, I had some schools that had said they would maybe be interested, but nobody's willing to commit. So that's made it a little trickier. Let's see, I feel like I'm forgetting something. That's everything that's coming up immediately. So.
Okay, yeah, and I can attest, when I worked in law enforcement, I was I know understand sign language, and a lot of times I would be called to see if there was a deaf person because they're normally seen as combative because they struggle to communicate. And so that youth suicide component is very important because understanding a lot of the techniques that they give you in that training is vital to helping a youth not commit suicide or to at least have a conversation with you. So anything we can do to help you get those commitments, sure we can, we would be more than happy to do for you. So.
Well, the schools have been interested in the idea that is a peer-to-peer program that is evidence-based. It's proving to work very well. And it is a peer-to-peer program that doesn't cost thousands of dollars every school year. So that's what they had requested, several of them. My only hiccup seems to be that for them to actually go ahead and commit to doing so. And then part of that, at least with one of the schools, is getting enough of the adults at the school that are willing to, we only need one more for that school to commit to being certified in the youth mental health first aid. So hopefully we can get that in gear sooner rather than later.
Marianne, I would love to sit down with you. Obviously it's in Cassia County, but Sherry and I also both attend this other coalition meeting together that there's a lot of teachers in there, and there are a lot of people who are looking for something exactly like that, and they're actually teachers. And so I'd love to sit down with you and try to get some more information about that to get it out here.
Yes, if I could have someone that is living in that area that could actually go there and, you know more about that area than I do. I'm based in Twin. I know several of the areas outside of Twin, but I don't know Burley and Rupert as much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've offered it to them, and so far I don't have a specific person. I sent the information to all the school principals and all the school counselors. And then if you know of any SROs, people like that could help, that's one more toe in the door. If we have the backing through any of the law enforcement. So sometimes that helps the schools. It's nothing other than to get some adults to do it, and then we can get the trainer there to train the teens at no cost to them. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to sit down with you about it. Just in my family alone, in my immediate family, there's 3 teachers in Cassia School District. So I'm like, let's get it done here, girl. Let's go do it.
Great. Sounds good.
Well, then is it Burley Police Department is now a member of, which one is it?
Heyburn, I think.
Heyburn, yeah, Heyburn. So
I know he's still on. He's on the phone.
So
I was going to say, I thought someone said they were from Heyburn. So
yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, I apologize. I ended up getting double booked, so I'm currently on the phone and was no longer able to stay on desktop. As far as with the city of Heyburn, we do not have an SRO at the moment. Our school resource officer is done by Minidoka County. However, we have started to develop a great working relationship with the alternative school, which is Mount Harrison, and they could definitely benefit from something like that. So I would be happy to help make introductions, maybe partner with Lindsay on that to do kind of a meet and greet with Maggie Spaniolo. She's the principal over at Mount Harrison, or Ariel, who's their counselor and vice principal.
that'd be great. Sometimes they get my emails, and when I call, nobody calls me back. So it's like if there's someone they've already got a connection with, that can make a really big difference.
And I'd be happy to do that. I know that the next 2 weeks, my schedule's kind of all over the board, as I'm also trying to train one of our new officers, and I'm down 2 officers at the moment. So when you only have 8 and you're down to 6, it kind of stings a little. But I'd be happy to make that conversation and connection with Maggie. I know that she is always open to receiving more resources, and that sadly with the school, they've had some substance abuse problems already this year, as well as mental health. So I'm sure that they would be welcoming with open arms.
Great. Like I said, all I can do is try to contact them, and too often I don't know if it just, since I don't have a direct connection, we get skipped over. They don't realize, or they don't read it, or I don't know what it is. But if I can have a direct connection, I'm much more likely to be able to actually make something happen.
It's kind of crazy. I'm just realizing that Jed Thomas is in here. He's the one that I know from Minnecaja Coalition. Sorry, Jed, not to call you out, but he also is a teacher at this school. So I'm going to get with you, Jed, and try to get you and Marianne kind of paired together. So.
awesome. Well, this is why I love how diverse our coalition is, because many times we have the exact people in the meeting that we need to start having these conversations and get some productivity going. So thank you, Chief, for making yourself available to make those introductions. And Mary Ann, I'll leave you in Lindsay's capable hands because I don't know anything about Burley as well. I know I love the town, it's pretty cool, but that's about all I know.
Well, then I've had some places, like I've been able to get the guided journal to the Mini-Cassia Juvenile Probation and Detention Center, at the Suicide Coalition group there in Mini-Cassia, the life skills training. I was able to help fund some of the materials that Simply Hope needed. I've got some connections, but I need to get into the schools. So thank you.
Not a problem. All right, moving on to Region 4. Do we have a rep for Region 4? I don't think we do.
Yes, this is Heather. I'm a rep
Yeah,
for,
so yeah. So we're
PFS.
leaning on our wonderful PFS coordinators to give us an update of what's going on in Region 4. And Kendall, you can share some stuff for MADC if you'd like as well. Go ahead, Kaylee or Heather.
All right. So like Marianne, we've got a lot of the same resources available. We've got the Botman Life Skills training that's available for people in Region 4. Also the DITEP expert training is available. We do have positive action. Some of our schools in the region have purchased positive action for classrooms, and that's been really successful. We offered it as a parenting class last year that we did a couple of those. We held them online, and that was beneficial as well. We've got mini grants available to help fund and support evidence-based prevention curriculum programs for after school, let's see, either in schools or after school programs. And then we talked about a little bit those scholarships that we have for professional development opportunities as well. And then we're offering in partnership with our suicide prevention, with one of my suicide prevention teammates, we're offering the youth mental health first aid. That's going to be held on December 2nd. And I'll put that information in the chat. The other things that I mentioned, those are all, again, they can be found on my webpage with links for applications. We do still have the prescription lock boxes and doTERRA packages offered to the community. If you know of anybody that's looking for those, or even if there's an event that you're holding that those might be helpful to have at the event, just reach out to me and we can get those for you too. I'm completely out of the boxes right now, but I do have an order coming in. So again, if that's something that you need, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Awesome. We really appreciate all you guys are doing with the PFS program.
Yeah, thank you.
Kendall, Haley, do you guys want to share anything from MADC?
I think it's just been really busy, and I just want to reiterate what you said about all the partners coming together through CCI, CDH, and working with Heather and Susie with Elks, and CCI chipping in and making everything possible. And even the coalitions that maybe are partners that we haven't partnered with, they always inspire us and provide good ideas on how we can enhance some of the work that we're doing. So pretty much that's it. Just a thank you and a well done, and we really appreciate it. Haley, do you have anything?
I was just going to say thank you again to CCI and Elks, especially for helping us meet that request for Red Ribbon Week. That was super helpful, and we just appreciate all the partnerships. So just second what Kendall said.
More than happy to do it. Love you guys out there. Let's see. I don't see Jerry on. Do we have a PFS coordinator for Region 3 on? I don't see. Her name is escaping me, but I don't see her on. I know they had their oh, that's right, Susie, they had their tall cop presentation out at the Caldwell Elks Lodge. That went really well. They also did drug take back day in Caldwell and Emmett, I believe. So, and then they've been doing sticker shock with the kids. I know they had both Caldwell and NAMP. I wasn't able to make it because I was busy with other things, but I heard positive things from that. So they're staying busy. We're trying to do a planning meeting with them, but they have some people with some health concerns. Jerry's dealing with some stuff, so we're gonna push that out till January to do a strategic planning session with them to help them kind of see what's next for the 2C DFC. And you guys, Heather or Marianne, do you guys know anything specific that the PFS program is doing in Region 3 that is different than what you guys are all working on together?
I know that Tara is offering an
There.
experts, which is like, oh, my mind's gone blank. It's a training to help with intervention type stuff. So she's offering some of that. She's offering some of the same things that all the rest of us are. And they are looking into possibly also offering the guided journal for youth mental health. So a few things that are in common throughout.
Awesome. Thanks, Marianne. Region 2, Natasha, are you still on? I don't see her. I think she had to jump off. Kaylee, do you want to give your update?
Yeah, we just wrapped up our first month of our Youth Vision campaign with Grace. That's our positive social norms social media campaign. We got a lot of, reach with those social media ads throughout our region. So that was exciting to see, and that'll continue through the end of May. We're just starting one of our seasonal campaigns with billboards and coffee sleeves. That's around alcohol prevention and underage drinking prevention. We made fun seasonal type messages to get out into the community. So those are kind of fun. And they're in our local coffee shops, I guess. And the billboards are going up later this month. We've been distributing our prescription drug safety supplies. Those are the lock boxes, Deterra, and timer cap kits. One of our local firefighter and EMS groups reach out to us, and they are taking a bunch of our prescription drug safety supplies so they can leave them when they're responding to different calls that are related to, substance use or misuse. Our pharmacy sticker shock campaign is going on, and Natasha's youth group is helping us sticker a bunch of those bags. So that's really awesome that they're helping us, as well as I can't think of the other group, the youth group in Kamiah that Charlene runs. They're also helping us sticker those. We had a couple different prescription drug take back days in our region. At LCSC, they collected 36.5 pounds. So we were pretty excited about that. And that was just on like a random Wednesday in the month, not on prescription drug take back day. And U of I also held an event that sounded like it went pretty well. We haven't got the pounds back from the officers on those events yet, or our police department events. Otherwise, we're working on getting some training scheduled, mental health first aid, SBIRT, and DITEP. So hopefully we'll get those trainings scheduled soon, and I'll email you guys about those trainings so you can help spread awareness of that. Most of them are going to be online. So I think that's about it for our region.
Awesome. Let's see, Region 1, Grace, do you want to let us know what's going on at the north end?
Hi. So I talked to their health district and they don't have updates right now. They'll have some updates in December. Tony also didn't have any updates, and then I was in Hawaii for the last 2 weeks. So I don't have that many updates because I was busy enjoying warm weather instead of the snow. But we had a couple events for Red Ribbon Week down in Star. We had some events happening up in St. Mary's, and we're working on a few chapters throughout the area. We also will be hiring soon. So if you're like, hey, maybe I need a change of career and you want to come hang out in the nonprofit sector, keep an eye out for that. We have a couple positions opening up. But besides that, nothing crazy up here. Thanks.
So, okay. Well, I think that wraps everything up because you had the Region 1 report. So let me look. Next is just kind of going over funding opportunities. We talked a lot about the PFS coordinators and then grant funding that they have released. You go to their individual websites to learn more about applying for that. And then not sure if those of you are aware, but the Idaho Liquor Division mini grant program extended the deadline to November 18th. So if you had something you were working on, but you missed the deadline, you didn't because they extended it. So you can go to mixblendandjoy.com and find that. We included that in the agenda, and we'll also have that for you in the minutes as well. So, and then training opportunities, the board will be coming together next week. We'll be here in Boise, finishing up the Gallup Strengths training that we've been doing with Sylvia and Aaron with WeAlign. Everybody has said amazing things about it. I think Grace finished her coaching the fastest of all of us. The Guinness Book of World Records called me to verify that she had finished it as fast as she did. But so we're going to be coming together and we're going to be learning about all of the, so we already know all our strengths now. So now we need to learn how our strengths can help us make us better leaders for not just not for this coalition, but the other coalitions that we work for as well. I can tell you right now, I knew some of my strengths, but I didn't realize why they weren't always as successful because I was living in the raw a lot of times. So I've gotten a lot out of it, and so has everybody else. And if you're interested in learning more about that, we can put you in touch with Sylvia and Aaron. And I think they're going to be doing some more trainings for us over the coming year, just on continuing to build in strong leaders for our coalitions. And then we did talk about CADCA. CADCA Forum coming up. Grace will have that group email up, and we can start coordinating and seeing who's going where and who's paying for it, and we'll figure all that out. So it's wrong on the agenda, but we will be coming together December 5th. It will be our next meeting. And yeah, does anybody have anything they want to share, or can I get a motion to adjourn?
This is Kendall. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Awesome. Can you get a second?
This is Haley. I'll second.
Awesome. We have a motion by Kendall and a second by Haley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Awesome. Well, we will see you guys next month. Feel free to reach out to the committee chairs if you want to get on a subcommittee meeting. And if you express interest in anything in today's meeting, we'll have those follow-ups coming up. And if you have anything you need to add to the agenda, email Grace so that she can get that added into the agenda this week. All right, guys, have a good one.
Lindsay, I know I just shared the notes with you. They're ugly. Don't look at them.
You're fine. No, they look good. I was like, oh my gosh.